I want to welcome everybody to the On the Map podcast. I'm your host, Coach Paul, and that lovely young man over there is our co-host, Jay. This is a show to highlight high school athletes, also to give these young men and young women a platform to tell their stories as they pursue their dreams in life. No matter what the dream is, remember this is only the beginning. And this is episode 8, baby, the end of the year wrap up. Everything has happened, and we're here to talk about it.
Exactly. First off, I want to wish everybody holidays, happy Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever, New Year's.
That's right.
Hope everybody gets their blessings. And before we get into it, what's one New Year's resolution you got?
All right, so New Year's resolution, I should have quit smoking like a long time ago. And my wife kind of has put this stipulation on me, like if I don't quit smoking, we're not getting married. So the New Year's resolution, brother, is I'm quitting smoking.
There we go. All right. Okay,
And like there's
nice.
no oh, I had a beer, I was buzzed, so I had a cigarette. Like no, like I have to like cut it out completely. So that is the New Year's resolution for this year. And the second thing is to I want to become a better, like just a better dad overall. Like I hold my kids to a high standard. And sometimes I don't meet that standard of being their dad. Like I'm just like yelling. Maybe I should just be more like involved and help the change rather than the persecutor. So those are my two things for this year. What about you?
There we go. Those are very good ones. For me, honestly, just getting back in shape. 2024, I was consistent, and then one thing led to another. I just fell off. And then for me, after Thanksgiving, honestly, it, I didn't even t I didn't go to the gym. I didn't nothing. So
Yeah.
staying in shape and just staying consistent and disciplined.
I
Yeah,
did beer curls from Thanksgiving till the end of the year.
there we
One
go.
beer, two beer, three beer, four beer.
Gotta
Yeah.
get the
I
reps.
gotta
All
get them
right,
curls
baby.
right. I gotta get them arms ready.
Exactly.
That's
Nice.
dope. So I know we were gonna talk about the end of the year honors because they all came out, but I'm throwing a wrench in our show today because I'm very interested in what you had brought up prior to the list coming out. You were going to talk about Hamilton and their schedule and what's going on over there. So before we get into the end of the year honors, or do you want to do that after? Because I want to hear about it because I'm interested.
Let's do it after
Okay.
because for the listeners, we're gonna do a little segment. Four teams to watch out for next season. So Coach Paul will do two, and I will do two. And Hamilton is one of my teams. A little
Okay.
spoiler. So
Okay.
I'll go over the schmeal then.
All right. Cool. So over the last week, like this was the thing that we've all been waiting for. Like we've all been in like, oh, who's gonna be the D1 player of the year? Who's gonna be this? And let me tell you, folks, CIF did not disappoint. They dropped the list, and man, the buzz is going. So we're gonna start off with the D3 player of the year. And our our D3 player of the year is Victor Mendez, a running back from Panorama. I wanted to give stats, but in the best interest of the show, I don't want to like, oh well, those weren't the best stats. Da 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 da. We're just gonna go into the body of work that they put in. Panorama, they did their thing this year, man, and they relied on Victor very heavily, and he did not disappoint, especially in the playoffs, especially in the championship. State playoffs, he showed up too. This kid is a tremendous young athlete. So shout out to Victor Mendez, the running back from Panorama, for getting Player of the Year for Division Three. Offensive MVP goes to Carlos Herrera, the quarterback from Van Nuys. Shout out to that young man. That young man has a very, very, very bright future. I hope he continues to do his thing. Van Nuys is on the come up as well, so we shall see what comes from that. But congratulations on being the offensive MVP for Division Three. We already know who the defensive MVP is, man. Arturo Aguilera. Arturo A, man. I'm so sorry. I
Yeah,
cannot
I
pronounce your last
I
name from Los
think
Angeles.
it's Arguello, something like that.
Hey,
I,
we're gonna get him on the show and he's gonna teach us how to pronounce it.
Thank you. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
This kid finished with over 150 tackles, and man, that's a tackling machine. Shout out to you, Arturo, man. Defensive MVP for Division 3, did his thing. And 150 tackles at any level, no matter what division. I don't care who you are. That is amazing. So a round of applause to him. Our O-line MVP is Anthony Del Alba Medina from Van Nuys. Shout out to Anthony, big boy on campus doing his thing. And then Noah Alvarado from Chavez is the D-line MVP. Hey, man, Noah being at Chavez, and look, Chavez and anybody that goes to that school, this is not a shot at you at all. I promise you. We all know that there's different levels of this, right? Like, we all are aware. So this is not a personal attack at Chavez, anything, but to have your defensive line be the D-line MVP, I'm proud. I'm happy. I was shocked. I was at first. I was like, what? But I looked at the kid's body of work, and he earned it. Shout out to Chavez. You guys are on the way to making a change and being a program that could be at the top of D3. So shout out to you guys. Coach of the year. You got to give it to Coach Adrian Beltran, man. Panorama High School. Yeah, there was nobody else. So
Yeah.
that ends up that rounds up the D3 awards. What you got next?
I got D2. Quick comments. They snubbed my boy Andrew Williams from Fremont.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. I'm just big on him. I'm just big on
yeah,
him. I knew he didn't do enough body of work, so but
right.
it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. All right, so I got D2. So, and some familiar names for Coach Robertson on this list. So for Division 2, pull it up for one sec. All right, there we go. We'll start D-line MVP. D-line MVP goes to Devon Mays, who's a senior at Jordan. O-line MVP is Adrian Z. I don't want to butcher the last name, so I'm just calling him Adrian Z. Chatsworth, who's a senior. And then offensive MVP is Adrian Mendoza, who's the quarterback at Angelo. Defensive MVP is Nathan Uribe. There we go.
Uribe from Legacy.
Yes, linebacker at Legacy, senior as well. Player of the year is somebody who Coach Robertson is very familiar with, and I wasn't surprised when he won it. Nicholas Fonseca, who is listed as an athlete, and I mean, it's true, he's an athlete.
Yeah.
Quarterback, receiver, he could probably kick, DB, everything.
He'll paint
as
the
a
fence,
sophomore,
he'll Booby Miles that bad boy.
yeah, exactly. He's also actually the only underclassman on all of these MVP awards. He's a sophomore. So congratulations to Fonseca. Great kid. And then Coach of the Year is Sean Johnson from Chatsworth, who we talked about last episode, who we are kind of not sure if he's going to be at Chatsworth next season. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But overall, nothing too surprising. I like the fact that Legacy got a defensive MVP. The same way you kind of said with Chavez applies to Legacy.
Right.
Maybe not the traditional powerhouse or in the city, but to see that Legacy has ballers, it just makes me proud. It's like, okay, there's ballers everywhere in the city.
Yeah.
Regardless of whatever team, Birmingham or Legacy, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like I think Legacy would have had somebody else on that list. But some injuries played key roles. Now I'm not. They made it to the playoffs too. They would have had somebody on. They would have had another person on the list if he was still healthy. And that's my honest belief. The kid had a bright future. Unfortunately, he tore his MCL. So you can't really. What if, man?
Yeah.
But they got next year. Shout out to Legacy for getting somebody on the list.
Exactly.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised at all that Uribe made it because the kid is like Arturo. The kid just ball magnet, dude. Like,
okay.
Like watching out of all the linebackers I watched this year, besides my own because I'm biased, like that kid sees a hole, reads the hole, shoots the hole, and fills the hole. The kid, oh my God. I liked watching him play. It was good to watch him. Like as a football fan, you'd be like, "Fuck, that kid's a linebacker." Yeah.
There we go. Shout out to D2.
Shout
Yeah.
out to all the D2s. All right. So now we got D1. D1 kind of it wasn't surprising like at all. At all at all. We had one person on here that I'm going to talk about right now that yeah, it just the kid did his thing, man. So we're going to start with the defensive line MVP, Elijah Staples from Marquez. That kid was a monster, man. Like, so that didn't surprise me at all. Mad shout out to him for doing his thing. Our offensive line MVP, our O line MVP went to Cole Ward from Palisades. The kid's a dog, man. Like, talk about whistle to whistle, and like, if you're not on your A game, you're gonna pay for it. Like, Cole is the guy I don't want to line up against at all.
Yeah, he's huge too. He's got
Yeah.
like 6'7", something like that.
Yeah. So like when Shindu and him were going at it, I was like, dude, that's a battle for the ages. And speaking of Shindu got the defensive MVP for out of King Drew. I can't pronounce your last name, Shindu, so please don't get mad at me. I've been very honest.
I think it's Onyegoro.
There you go, Onyegoro. Shindu
Yeah.
Onyegoro out of King Drew was the defensive MVP. Man, this kid is going to be something special. The offensive MVP was Jack Thomas, the quarterback from Palisades. Yeah, dude, like, when we get into schools to watch, I'm going to get into my little spiel about Jack because you told me last year, you're like, yo, you need to check out this kid. And I was like, there's no way. Yeah.
I very much with like Andrew Williams. I am a big Jack Thomas guy.
Yes.
I think had Jaden O'Neal not been in the city this year, he would have been probably the best quarterback. He kind of reminds me like Patrick Mahomes. I remember this one play, and when we had spaces on Twitter like all those months ago, I had mentioned this exact play. It was against Westchester right before the half. 10 seconds left, 12 seconds left. Pocket collapses, rolls out to the left, then goes to the right, and then hits a crossbody at least 30, 35 yards to his receiver, and it's a touchdown to end the half. And I'm just like, this guy, he's great. If he stays in the city, he'll be the number one quarterback consensus, barring another, huge high major QB comes in. So yeah.
The fact that this kid threw for 30 touchdowns, only had 2 interceptions and 8 rushing touchdowns in his regular season, bruh. This kid is, and he's only a junior. Now people are going to say I'm biased because Mike Gonzalez, hey man, if you check his stats, he's right there.
Yeah. But so, you know what they'll probably say? They'll probably say like, oh, strength of schedule.
Mike Gonzalez, hey man, I love you. Next year's going to be our year. And you're going to put yourself on the map. Coach is already I'm already out there for you, brother. But let me tell you something. This kid, Jack Thomas, man, this kid is the real deal, too.
He's good.
Hey, man, his intangibles, like, the kid is, isn't he like 6'3"?
No, he's actually like 6'1" maybe.
He's 6'1"?
Yeah.
He plays like he's 6'3". He looks tall as shit.
He's fast, too.
Yeah, he runs a 4.6. So a 4.6 for a quarterback isn't bad. So his measurables in 6 foot 4.6. That's cool. I give it to him. I can't wait to see what happens next year. So when we get into these schools to watch out for next year, I'm definitely being a homer.
There we go.
And our player of the year, we knew this was coming. We have Jameer Torres, the athlete from King Drew, was the player of the year. That was going to be consensus. This kid had multiple 300-yard games in the playoffs. Like, the kid was just all over the field. And coach of the year, you already know, Joe Torres from King Drew as well.
Yeah.
So shout out to the D1 honorees.
Yep, father duo winning it. Jameer and Joe Torres, another King Drew. kid in Shinzo Onigoro winning it. I think overall this was a very good year for D1. There's
Yeah,
a
it was.
a lot of talent, and I'm really excited to see what Jameer Torres does. Is he going to take one of his few offers that he has, or is he going to go JUCO or whatever? Because he
Well,
has
this
the with the new ruling. What does that do to high school kids? That's a whole nother segue we could get into. But whoever he has the talent to be at a Division 1,
oh
so
yeah,
we'll
for
see.
sure. For sure, for sure. All right. You got the open, buddy. Let's
Yes,
hear it.
sir. Let me pull it up. So I got Open Division. So for Open Division, oh, I lost it real quick. There we go. Okay, so for Open Division, defensive MVP, or the defense MVP rather, is Eddie Plaza, who's a linebacker at Birmingham. Defensive line MVP is his teammate Andy Balon, who's at Birmingham. Offensive line MVP is probably the biggest dude in the city, Frankie Rivera from San Pedro Senior
Yep.
as well. Offense MVP is San Pedro's wide receiver Elias Redlew, who's actually a junior, so he'll be coming back. And then Coach of the Year is San Pedro's Corey Walsh. And then Player of the Year, no surprise here, Wyoming commit Steven Perez, who I don't know why they didn't just list him as athlete, but he plays running back, wide receiver, linebacker, and DB on the
Yeah,
spreadsheet.
I didn't understand that on the spreadsheet either.
Yeah,
They listed like
but
every position. Just put athlete.
yeah, just for athlete. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say here is no Carson or Narbonne kids, but then I think about it. Oh yeah, all these kids deserve it. Like in the city championship game, Elias Redlew was quite literally like the only spark of offense San Pedro had, and he was good. Like he was giving Ernest Nunley, who's a Division 1 guy, trouble. So he's good. So yeah, overall, just
It didn't
great
surprise you
players.
that none of the batting kids made it either.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess because they got Steven Perez, but I feel
Yeah,
like
but
maybe they should have had a few more shout outs.
right. Well, because I didn't look. I did. Well, if we look at the first teams, like I know it's
Yeah.
spread out pretty evenly, but
Except the one thing I will say, and I don't want to seem like I am like the biggest Narbonne fan, but like they won the city open division, right? You would think they would have more than one person make first team offense or or two people, sorry. I didn't
yeah,
see Jaden O'Neal. So, but I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens, I guess.
yeah. But
But
you also got to think maybe a Norbon kid was player of the year, but because of the whole thing, they had to
yeah.
switch it up at the end.
But honestly, even I would have still given it to Steven Perez if I'm being honest, because he was do it all
Steven is a
for
baller,
batting.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
Steven's a baller, man. Like, so I wouldn't have taken that away from him, but
for sure.
Open was kind of skewed.
Yeah, but I will say this: I'm not trying to make it seem like Perez didn't deserve it. No, no. Even if Narbonne won 100-0 every game, Steven Perez, for how important he was to that team
Exactly.
and what he meant, he for sure deserved Player of the Year.
And the fact that he's
So
got a
yeah,
full ride to Wyoming speaks to the volume of what type of
yeah,
athlete he is.
I'm hyped. I'm really excited to see him in Wyoming. From being in Wilmington to wherever Wyoming is, like
Yeah,
whatever city, University of Wyoming plays in,
yeah.
it'll be a culture shock for sure. But
Hey, I
I'm
didn't dive into
excited.
first team or anything. Did Xavier get anything?
Xavier Grant, yeah, he got first team offense as a running
Okay.
back. Yeah,
Yeah, because he was back to back Marine League MVP,
exactly.
and
Yeah,
he didn't get it this year, huh?
yeah. Some interesting names on here. Deuce Johnson from Dorsey,
Yeah.
sophomore. Who else? What's his name? Titus Aguli. He's a freshman DB at Carson. Cameron Hurst. Troy Talua from Carson as well. Sophomore. So there's good names. And also Dylan Moreno of San Pedro. He's probably I can't remember the Kennedy's kicker's name, but him and that Kennedy kicker are probably tied for like best kickers in the city. And he's
Okay.
only a sophomore, Dylan Moreno, so we'll see.
Nice, nice,
And that
nice,
kind of,
nice.
you have any comments on open division?
Nah, like it was. We knew it was gonna kind of go this way. Like, I'm glad to see the other names that made it. I knew Steven would be up there. And I'm glad he got Player of the Year. Um, but I'm not surprised at anybody else that won an award, not an open. Those are all great athletes in that division.
Yeah. Exactly. There we
So
go. You ready for the next segment?
let's go. What we got next, brother?
Next segment, we got teams to watch for next season. So, like I said, I will do two. Coach Paul will do two.
Yes,
Do
sir.
you want to go first, or who wants to
No,
go first?
you go first.
All right. Well, I kind of spoiled it already, but my team to watch out for next season is Hamilton High School, near Culver City. Mainly the reason I chose them is because they hired Coach Elijah Asante right before last season, or 2 seasons ago, rather. No, 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 this season, actually. Yeah, he was hired in like August. So I'm just gonna say it. I think Hamilton is gonna get some big transfers in. Why?
Okay.
Because this is Hamilton's schedule next season, and my source is Coach Asante himself. If you guys want to look at his Instagram, this is my source, his Instagram. He posted it on his Instagram.
Yes.
So, and his at is like Coach Asante, I think, if you want to go find
All
the
right.
post. Week 1, they're going to play Gardena Serra. Week 2, they're going to play Crenshaw. Week 3, Loyola.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're gonna play Manual Arts, which I don't know which week it is. So it's week 4 or 5, and they have somebody else who I don't know.
Okay.
The reason I say he has transfers in is because you can't go and play Gardena Serra, Loyola, potentially another powerhouse with that open slot with the majority of the same squad you have now. And that squad that I'm talking about now, I'm not kind of downplaying how good they are, but sometimes you gotta realize, okay, this is my team. Why would we come and schedule a team of this caliber when it's a safety hazard to our players and
Okay.
their morale and
I see where you're
physically
coming
like
from.
they're just
Okay.
bigger and stronger, right? Hamilton finished D2, 2-9, and then first round exit to an El Camino Real, who was a good team,
Right.
but I don't know, man. I have like Asante. He did this at Long Beach, Jordan, and Carson, who, by the way, Carson beat. Oh no, no, he beat Mater Day with Carson, even though it was like 2011, but it still counts.
It does. It
So
does, bro. It
yeah,
does.
yeah, he beat Mater Day with Carson. So it's just I I don't know if it's I don't know. I just have a feeling something's coming. Some players are gonna come because it has to. So Gardena Serra is a top probably like 20 team in the state.
Yeah.
So we'll see. That's kind of why I put teams to watch out for because
Okay.
something's coming. I don't know what, but I have a feeling something's coming.
Okay. All right. Um, my thought process on this is you may be right. Maybe. But I think just based on how do I want to answer this without all right. I can always edit this out if I don't like the way I respond to this. No, but I'm just kidding. Um, I think that the coach has a tremendous amount of belief in the athletes that he has. He may have somebody or a couple kids coming in via transfer that may be very well what's happening. But either way, as a coach, you always have to instill your faith in your team, and that schedule tells me that he's thinking long haul, like he's thinking end run. Strength of schedule will put them well with that strength of schedule. Fuck, you win a couple league games, you're in D1 or open, buddy.
Yeah,
like
they'll probably have the hardest schedule except for
yeah.
Birmingham.
But what that's going to do is it's going to prepare his team for his league and prepare them for a playoff run because those teams are no walks in the park. And if you do get the athletes to come in to help you compete against those teams or beat those teams, then you're on to something. So I wouldn't say you're wrong, but I'm not necessarily just going to throw all my eggs in the basket and say you're right as well.
Yeah, it's man, this is kind of just speculation. Like I
Yeah.
said, I have no sources, no nothing. I just think he coined the phrase, and Sandy tweets about it all the time. I don't recruit, I attract. So we'll see if he attracts
Hey
some talent to
man,
come to Hamilton
that's
because
right.
there's good pieces for sure. Like I think it's Micah or Mika Butler, their
Okay.
center. He's a sophomore. He's a big kid. Richard Dunn. He was like Asandi was tweeting about him at the beginning of the season. This 6'2", 250, 13-year-old has to wait 1 week because 13-year-olds can't play varsity in the city
Yep.
section. So he's
Yeah, bro.
good.
Dude,
Yeah,
that's crazy. Like, I think if you're in high school, who fucking care? Who cares what age you are? Like, I'm in high school. You gotta wait a week.
yeah, I don't know. It's for the safety, I guess. But I mean,
Safety. The kid was demolishing 14 and 15-year-olds.
yeah, I think it's just he was for sure he was built like a senior. But for most other 13-year-olds, they're probably not 6'2", 250.
Yeah, but then that's when you get away. Like, if my mom or my dad are like, "Yeah, he could play varsity," then you should let that happen because honestly, that week that he played, I'm pretty sure that week that he played the lower class, or the fact that he even plays with eighth graders now, right? He's demolishing everybody that's in his way.
He probably went for like 200 yards on that JV game.
Demolishing everybody, like
Yeah.
whatever.
So
And
yeah, that's my team to watch. I kind of do hope some transfers come in. We'll see who, and we'll see who their fifth game is because Gardena, Serra, and Loyola, no joke.
no, they're not. They're not. They're not at all. And I'm excited to see what Hamilton's able to do. Speaking of schedule, all right. So I'm going to be completely biased in my teams to watch for next year. Um, I don't care. I really don't at all. But this is just testament to what I know and what I'm seeing going into like the off season. Yes, one of them is Southgate High School. And I'll start with us right away. I'm not saying that we're going to compete for the Open Championship right away. But I am saying that if we do what we are supposed to do with the amount of talent that we have and building off of last year, we will put together something very, very special. Our strength of schedule, Coach Saldana, our strength of schedule is pretty nice. Our first well, you already know we played Linwood and Mary Star, but we went and
Okay,
added La Mirada and Santa Fe to our schedule.
some
So
good
La
Southern
Mirada,
section teams.
is week 0. Santa Fe is week 3 or week 2. It would be considered our third game, week 2. Mary Star made a run to the championship. They whooped our ass last year, but that was just due to some tackling stuff that we can figure out and adjust. I don't think we're going to have a season where our offensive player of the year is playing quarterback for 5 games. So
Yeah,
let me just read a little stat line because I told him that I would give him his due diligence in his accomplishments because he did bust his butt this year when he came back. And I am the one putting all of the weight on this young man's shoulders because he is the leader of our team. He is our quarterback. But he finished the season with 1,600 yards, 18 touchdowns. He had 6 interceptions, and that's off the top of my head. I'm not going to look up stats. And imagine what we could have done if we had him for a full season. If we had our whole team for a full season. You saw what we did with 2. Imagine what we're going to be able to do with 5. And the returners that are coming back. I can tell you guys that the lesson we learned from that championship game is going to drive us coaches. It has been driving us coaches. And it's the fuel to our fire. So we know what we need to correct to make sure that doesn't happen again. So most definitely a team to watch out for next year is the Southgate High School Rams because we're knocking on the door.
definitely.
Yeah.
Even I will be a little more unbiased, but not really. Even if I didn't know Coach Paul or anybody, I would have still looked at kind of the talent they're retaining in certain positions. I would have been like, oh yeah, okay,
Yeah.
it'll be a problem. Now, with what I know now, with what you just told us and me and the viewers, your strength of schedule, you win 3, 4, however many games of those, you do good in league. I mean, you could be a high, maybe not the first seed in D1, but you could be a good seed in D1.
Yeah, and honestly, like as a staff, like you got to understand, like the head coach has surrounded himself around some like-minded people. Um, we all want to shoot for the moon, because if we don't make it to the moon, we'll land amongst the stars. So with our strength of schedule and our kids, if we're not knocking on the door of open this year, wait till they're seniors. Wait till they're seniors. We had an amazing run with a bunch of we had seniors, we had some juniors, but our core was sophomores. So now that you take those juniors that have that taste of what leadership is and the turnaround, because this is a turnaround, because we went 0-10 the year prior. So now you have those juniors that are stepping into the senior roles, and these sophomores that are just like, yo, look what we did last year. Wait till you see what we do this year. We're gonna be shot. Like we are, as long as we don't shoot ourselves in our foot, and we maintain the hunger and the want to be successful, we're gonna be a team to reckon with. And I don't want to compare ourselves to like King Drew or Palisades, but those teams the year prior had a year where they came off like, damn, I could have done better. And look at what happened when they dialed in. Like, look what happened when they got focused and they took that extra step. They both made it to the championship of D1. So, man, I'm excited. Yeah. I'm excited. You saw my tweet the other day. I was thankful on New Year's, and I can't wait to get back, man. I'm itching. Like, I go to workouts. My son is a freshman, gonna be our JV quarterback. So he's out there training.
There you go.
Man, it's about to be a very exciting off season, because my kids are hungry, dude, and I can see it. And my text messages go off on a daily, like, Coach, when are we gonna do this? Coach, I want to do this. Coach, I want to do that. And I'm just like, oh, I didn't have none of that last year.
Yeah. Southgate, definitely a team to watch. And I also say, your guys' OC, Matt Valencia, he's a great OC, great football mind, and players want to play for him. So I won't be surprised if I see a few players transfer over to Southgate. So,
hey,
we'll
man.
See. No comment.
Nah, not even. I don't, man. Okay. You know me. I don't care about that shit. That shit doesn't bother me. Like, okay, you're gonna come back to my show and be like, oh, he said this. No, like the coach from Hamilton says, we don't recruit. We don't. We attract kids. Like, our style of coaching, it appeals to players. But just so you guys know, if you guys want to come over, you better have that mentality and get ready and mentally prepare yourself to sit your 5, unless you're from somewhere else and you move. Because the one thing I'm gonna tell you is we do shit by the book. We do. Like, I'm not trying to get nobody in trouble. Like, these kids' futures are in our hands. Like, what type of leader would I be if I just carelessly told somebody, yeah, come over, we'll figure it out when you get here? Nah, we're not doing that. Like, if you approach us, if your parents approach us and you want to talk, come to the school. Let me show you what my school can show you academically. If you choose to come to my school based off the academics and then what the athletics can offer, then we'll talk. And if you move and you don't have to sit 5, you don't have to sit 5. But if you have to sit 5, sorry, man. It's the way of the world.
Exactly.
But we're honest with kids.
Yeah, that's why Mike Gonzalez had us sit 5. Yeah, you guys do it right.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what he does with the full 10 in this season. All right, who's your next school to look at?
Segueing to my last school, I was fighting between 2 teams, and I chose Birmingham High School.
Oh, you dog! Why?
Mainly due to how many players they're returning. They're seniors. They graduated. I don't want to say an exact number, but more than 8, but less than 12, something like that. They didn't. Everyone knew going into the season this was a very young team. They started a freshman before Kevin Hawkins got eligible.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of just I don't want to say they're the runaway favorite for the city because we're so far away from season, but
Yeah.
if you look at right now and just kind of the squads they have, and also do want to say Birmingham always attracts transfers too because they're just probably the best public school in the valley for academics. It's a great charter school.
You get all the
They
Sierra Canyon kids, bro.
actually they usually get like other West Valley League kids like Elko, Granada, Cleveland, and occasionally they'll get like maybe like a Chaminade or
Yeah.
Bishop, Alemany. But so they just kind of get the best kids in the valley, and that's kind of why they're always the top dog. But I'm just kind of man, they're returning Kevin Hawkins. Even if they decide not to play him at quarterback, they still have Daniel Kakuza, who's a freshman going to be a sophomore,
Yeah.
who didn't look amazing, of course, but he looked capable against strong Southern Section teams.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
imagine what he can do in the city with another year of experience. They got a couple linemen. I just think this was kind of the perfect storm for next season, and now they'll probably be a favorite to. No, they're definitely a favorite for sure. But are they the consensus favorite? We'll see as we approach August.
Yeah, that's true, bro. Like, so the next one's a tie. And the reason being is because actually, no, it's not a tie. I'm lying. I think my second team is Palisades, hands down, just straight off of Jack Thomas's shoulders, just like I'm basing ours off of Mike's. In order, what I've noticed in city section, is if you have a great leader at the helm, somebody that can, yeah, there's teams that have clock manager quarterbacks, but let's be honest, like the teams that are out there, like out there, their quarterbacks are able to get their athletes the ball. They're able to not turn the ball over. They're able to do what their OC is calling or their head coach is calling. And let me tell you something. Jack Thomas is not a game manager. That guy is a dude.
Yeah,
And the fact that he's coming back with all the experience, and hell, they lost to a great King Drew team. Like they there's going to be times where you meet opponents that it's their day, right?
yeah,
Palisades is not. I think they're a freshman incoming transfer away from being a team too. Like, to see the progression that team made from last year to this year was astounding to me.
hmm
I and I'm not saying that the quarterback they had the year before, I don't remember who it was, but I'm telling you, Jack being back there, dude, it gives them a level of opportunity and the ability to do things that they may not have been able to do in the past. And that offense is something potent. And their defense is pretty nice too, man. Like, that's a well coached team over there. So
yeah,
Palisades is my next team to watch. Now, I see them going to Open, maybe. I think Open next year is going to be very, very interesting. It's going to be
yeah.
you're going to have the Marine
But
League
really,
teams
but you gotta
minus
take out.
Narbonne.
Yeah, so that opens up a spot.
So
So we'll see.
now we got to see. So, King Drew, and it's just, you 1D1. So you're automatically going to be in to start Open. Palisades, you'll probably start to be Open. And then you take the teams that came in, what, third and fourth to fill it. So are you
Yeah.
going to go grab the Garfields? Like, um, I'm not saying anything about Garfield right now, but
hmm
from what I've heard, things may not be what they used to be.
Yeah.
But
New coach, new regime. It might take them a year or two
exactly,
to
so you
to
got
get
to
it.
put that to, so
hmm
since they were an Open team, you're not going to discredit their body of work. So you put them in a one spot, right? So they're a high D1 automatically. Um, and then it's a race to the finish. So
Yeah.
next year, anything can happen, man.
Yeah.
I'm truly excited to see what happens.
I like the point you brought up about how you think they're kind of one maybe transfer impact player away
Yeah,
from Open. I completely agree. They just had maybe one or two more like athletes, especially on defense, to handle the likes of a Jameer Torres when you're in a championship game
Right.
or you're playing these other open division teams. I just think that'll transcend them to open division because
Right.
Jack Thomas is returning his top two favorite targets. Um, King Demetrius, I think, and Solomon is his last name. Two
Okay.
wide receivers, very fast, very quick. So he's returning targets he likes. And I think Harrison Carter might be a junior, their running back. I could be
Okay.
wrong. So he's returning the key pieces that he likes, but especially one flaw I had with the Palisades team last season was just the lack of athletes. They
Right.
had very well fundamental kids, linebackers, D line, good size, but sometimes athletes win you games, and it proved when Jameer Torres took a kickoff and returned it for a touchdown, and
Right.
so yeah,
Sometimes all it takes is just that one player,
yeah,
and
and yeah,
and they could be developing a kid. You could be, and I'm not saying you're not, but yeah, like
yeah. And
maybe one falls out of the sky. Like maybe one kid just fully develops, hits his peak, and they have it, or
mhm,
somebody's like, you know what, I like what they're building over there. I'm gonna go take a
yeah,
shot on myself over there.
we'll see. I don't really know if Palisades is like a hotbed of transfers. Yeah, Jack Thomas transferred from Loyola, but I don't know if there was any other transfers. I think they're mainly just a homegrown school, JV, varsity, so I'm not
Yeah,
too sure. But I hope they somebody takes a look, or maybe Jack Thomas taps in with a few Loyola kids. We'll
right. Some
see.
or is it one of his homies from 8th grade? Like, hey, bro, remember you said if I did something, you come with me.
Yeah,
Hey,
we'll
no, but
see.
yeah. But the one thing that everybody's got to like really realize is when we give our opinions and we say like maybe a kid should come in, there's nothing wrong with a kid coming in, guys. Like, don't. I seen a shirt. So I was at a basketball game. So
Okay.
my son is a senior at Southgate High School as well, but he plays basketball. Um, and they were playing a team that was wearing a shirt that said homegrown. And I kind of wanted to be like, no, you guys aren't homegrown. You guys got transfers too. Um, so let's just be mindful that transfers are a part of high school. It happens. Um, it's okay. It is okay. Um, can we not have like 30 go to one school though?
Yeah, transfers are okay. Like 30, no.
Jesus.
And when I say maybe, like Jack Thomas should have, I truly mean maybe. I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
I don't have any sources, guys. I'm not
Right.
saying these kids will actually transfer.
And me being a coach, like, so I give you my honest opinion, but like, I'm also honest with like the way we handle things. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat shit because just because I coach high school football and I got a platform where I could talk crap if I wanted to. And no, this is a show to highlight high school kids and offer them a platform to discuss what they got going on. But it's also for me and Jay to give our opinion with what we feel is going on around our city because we are rooted in the city and we do care about high school football mostly, but we are going to dabble into other sports. So just please keep that in mind when you guys hear our opinions and our critiques and just some of our banter back and forth because at the end of the day, that's all it is. Unless I got a coach on here telling you I have so and so, I have Malik Neighbors transferring to Huntington Park, California. Like, it's all
Yeah,
speculation. And it's
yeah,
all
it's
stuff that we get dropped in our inboxes sometimes. And sometimes we want to
mhm.
run with it. Like, we'll throw it back and forth. Like, hey, you want to talk about this? And he'll be like, nah, not really. And I'll be like, all right, cool. Let's not. Or I'll be like, hey, we're talking about this. And he'll be like, all right, we will. So it's just all stuff. So just keep in mind, just be mindful. Like, we're here. And it's just all shits and giggles at the end of the day.
Yeah, just talking, that's it.
That's it. Hey, so what do we got coming up? And I know we want to do some. We were talking about we want to do some heavy hitters, but I know I want to get a coach on here.
Hmm.
So we got interviews coming up, and we're gonna dabble into the football aspect. I know I got a girl wrestler that's like she's a stud, bro. She is, and she's out of Cerritos High School. Madeline Meredith is gonna be on the show. Shout out to Greg Meredith, her dad. Kingston Tisdale, I have not forgot about you, sir. I gotta send your dad the questions. I have not forgotten about you guys. Just the chaos of everybody's season. Me and Jay getting on the same page. Hell, we were supposed to record last week and it didn't happen. My bad, Jay.
Yeah. No
We are
worries, no
working.
worries.
We are working things out. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Jay, until next time, brother.
Until next time. Thank you, guys.
Peace. So